I really thought this was going to be the one. I thought it was going to be the last keyboard I'd ever need to buy, and it is so damn close to perfect, but it is not quite there.
Quick unboxing. So as you can see, we just have an outer sleeve here with the Monsgeek name as well as the model of the keyboard, and that just appears on most sides of the outer box. Here we have the color of the keyboard. I've grabbed the purple, but that's mainly it. So taking off the sleeve, we have the inner box where we house everything, and opening that up, we have a piece of foam, plastic dust cover, a manual that's both English and Chinese, a nice clean sheet of tape if you want to do the tape mod. There's a white USB Type-C cable, a keycap puller, there's also a switch puller, and some Teflon pads along with an Allen key to open up the keyboard and a 2.4 GHz dongle. Taking a look around, this is the top, very basic, and then the back has a USB Type-C port. The front is very plain, there's nothing really here. And then onto the back, we just have a badge along with the logo, and on the side, we have a gold or brass accent. Okay, taking it apart, we just have 6 screws on the bottom that you can see there. I've taken them out. Then the top cover just pops off, nice and easy once the screws are taken out. You can see we have these 2 brass or gold accents that just come out of the keyboard, and they're quite nice, very shiny. All right, taking the top cover off. Yeah, we have a lot of foam. So we have an anti-static mat in the bottom, and then underneath that, we have a battery. For all the keyboard nerds out there, it looks like we have a silicone gasket instead of the pour-on kind, which is still good.
So that keyboard is the Monsgeek M7W. It's a 65% keyboard with a fully CNC'd aluminium case, and in total it has 68 keys. So it forgoes the numpad as well as the F row at the top of the keyboard. You can either buy it fully built or as a kit, and the kit just comes with switches and keycaps, which is what I've got here. So I've gone for the purple pre-built. It also comes in black and white from what I believe, and I think it just looks super clean. The keycaps have a really nice gradient to them, which I think really adds to the keyboard. I've got the Acco Cream Yellow V3 Pro switches. You can see the side-by-side with my old keyboard, which was a TKL. The TKL keyboard has a numpad and it keeps the F row right at the very top. And to be honest, even though this has a lot fewer keys, it isn't too much smaller, and that comes down to the thicker bezels of the M7W. So the keyboard is Windows and Mac compatible, and it has 3 ways to connect. You can either use USB Type-C, Bluetooth, or you can use the included 2.4 GHz dongle. The keyboard has a 5000 mAh power battery, and Monsgeek say that you can get 600 hours without the RGB or 32 hours with RGB. I think where this falls short is using the 2.4 GHz dongle. I find that the connection can be a little bit hit and miss, especially when there's no direct line of sight between the dongle and the keyboard. Plugging it into the back of the PC, I noticed that I had a lot of dropped key presses where things just weren't being registered. I've moved the dongle to the front of the computer, and that seems to have fixed everything. My next gripe is that you have to take off the caps lock key to get access to a switch. So there are 3 different positions. So you have Mac, you have Windows with the battery off, and you have Windows with the battery on. I just don't see why you would have a switch underneath a keycap. I feel like that's very, very frustrating. I don't see why it could have been on the back of the keyboard, on the bottom of the keyboard. I think that's a lot more convenient. I don't want to get out a keycap puller every time I want to swap between Windows and Mac. For me, not a big deal because I'm only on Windows, but I can imagine for a lot of people, that is a huge pain having to take off a keycap. So yeah, other than that, the keyboard is rock solid. Monsgeek does have a QC guide on there, which talks about possible imperfections that might come along with the keyboard, but I don't have any imperfections that I can see on mine. It feels very solid. It's full aluminium, built fantastically. It's very weighty. The switches and keycaps, they're pretty nice. I think I will replace them. I do like the sound, but I think I want to go for a silent keyboard. But overall, loving the purple color. I don't think that it's something you see too often, and it's looking fantastic.